good. I mean, she's got to give me the okay when the video starts. So, all right, so we good. Here we go. All right. This time, I'd like to go ahead and call to order the West Baton Rouge Parish Council meeting for April 24th, 2025. I'd ask anyone to silence any electronic devices you may have on your possession. For opening prayer, I'm going to ask Councilman Atlee Walker to lead us in the prayer, and afterward, I'm going to ask Finance Director Mr. Chance Stevens to lead us in the pledge.
Lord, I want to thank you for allowing us to gather here again this evening, Lord. Lord, I pray that you watch over the residents of West Baton Rouge Parish that were affected by this significant rain event, Lord. I pray that you watch over everyone, Lord. And I thank you for our first responders, our firefighters, and our sheriff's deputies, Lord, that are going out to try and protect the citizens of our parish, Lord. Lord, I want to thank you for our parish employees, Lord, that are working hard to meet the needs of the people that we serve. Lord, I ask that you give this council godly wisdom and knowledge and understanding on how to address the issues as they come before us. We just want to say thank you for allowing us to be here today. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, there, Atlee. Thank you, Chance. Council log in attendance. Okay, we obviously have a quorum. Moving to item 5, minutes approval. A, approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of April 10th, 2025. If everybody's had a chance to review those minutes, I have a motion by Mr. Lane, second by Mr. Crowe to approve. I'm going to open the machines and vote for approval for the minutes. Minutes are approved. Item 6, consider any amendments to the agenda, and we have none. Item 7, public comments. Anyone from the public would like to speak at this time? Anyone from the public? Yes, sir. Come on up. State your name for the record. 3 minutes.
K. Ruth Summers.
Yes, sir.
923 Chevrolet Lane, Port Allen.
Yep.
I want to bring up the attention of a problem we have on Rosedale Road in front of the high school. I notice on the west side we have a turn lane, which is good, but on the east side they don't. And when those school buses come out and they make a right turn to go back to Port Allen, they got to go into the westbound lane because the buses are longer than they used to be. I was just wondering if the council could see about maybe getting with the DOT to see about maybe getting the turn lane extended so that wouldn't cause a problem. Because I've seen several times people had to stop to let the bus turn because of that. So that's about all I got to.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you, Carew, for that. Administration, I guess, can address that. Brandon, you got that? All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Moving to item 8, Parish President's Report. Mr. Manola.
Did it rain today?
It's been a pretty uneventful day. I'm going to just basically talk about the rain event that we had today. That's going to be encompass my entire Parish President's Report. We have rain gauges, as you guys know, throughout the parish. We had anywhere from 8 to 9 inches of rain, and in one case, a little over 9 inches of rain, predominantly on the southern end of our parish in the Bruleatis area, early. And then just when the Bruleatis area, about 11 o'clock, and then you get a huge rain event here in Port Allen, which I think the rain gauge right where we have our Dino's office had like over 9.5 inches or close to 9 inches on it. 9.48 inches they had there. So it really hit everything from the, I would say, Rosedale Road area south. It was the biggest hit areas. Interestingly enough, I talked to Dino and I said, hey, can you get in contact with Jay Grimes? He now works for GoSep. So can he just kind of give us an analysis of what actually took place? Well, Jay Grimes sent us a radar image that he had. In a particular area of Addis, you had 8.52 inches of rain in 87 minutes. 87 minutes, 8.52 inches of rain.
That's an hour and a half.
Yeah, in an hour and a half. Everybody talks about 100-year rain events, 200-year rain events. Talking with Brandon earlier, that's even surpasses those type of rain events. We had approximately, at this time that we're aware of, probably 8 to 10 structures that we're aware of currently One of the ones that we did have was an apartment complex on Chad Drive in Addis that took on some water. They had to evacuate that apartment complex. We actually opened up the Addis VFW temporarily and then offered them assistance, gave them had Red Cross numbers and brochures for them. Since that time, they have either Red Cross has provided, or other family members have taken them in, but there's no one in our Addis VFW shelter at this time. And I know, everybody, when you talk about only 8 to 10 structures had water in it. Well, to those 8 to 10 folks, that's not insignificant. I mean, it's not something that we take lightly. We do plan on having an after action plan meeting early next week, to where, our roads and drainage guys were on the road since early this morning. And what people don't understand in a flash flood event like this, the biggest problem you run into is people that may have things laying around in their yards, garbage cans. We just pulled the garbage can, Addis just pulled a garbage can out of a major drainage structure in Addis probably about a little over an hour and a half ago, which made a huge difference. Water went down immediately after it was pulled out. But they were constantly picking up lids off the tops of our covers of our teas and things like that. But they did that all morning long and all afternoon. And if you would have went and rode, and I'm sure a lot of you probably did, all of our major canals, the Cooley, the Bayou Stumpy, Parish Canal, Port Allen Canal, all of those were draining. Taunton Canal, all of those were draining to maximum capacity. They were rolling. I talked to all the mayors at different points during the day. It looked like a rapids down the Taunton Canal. So the water was getting out. It's just you cannot have the infrastructure in place when you get 8.52 inches of rain in an 87-minute period. It's just not feasible to have that, because water can't get to the outflow canals fast enough. It's going to back up until it can get there. But again, I am definitely in no shape or sense trying to make light of the fact that the folks, 8 to 10 folks that actually did get water. It is something that it is a concern. It is something we will continue to see what we can do. We all have our list of areas that we saw as we were all traveling today and looking at different areas and things that we're going to meet on and see if there's any type of improvements, what type of improvements that we can make for any potential future rain event that we may have similar to this. One thing I do want to mention, though, and this is a credit to you guys and a credit to the administration, not only this administration, but previous administration, previous councils. We have a very active and a very strong stormwater management program. And that's what you guys have actually, and other administrations, this administration, this council have done, is we've looked at if there's any developments, if there's any impervious ground that is being disturbed to where you're going to have a structure on it, a detention or retention pond is considered. And that drainage study is done by engineers and reviewed and approved by our engineer also. So without that, if we didn't have that in place, you would be getting a lot more runoff quicker to areas that would have caused way more extensive flooding problems that we did have. So again, that's a credit to you guys. But again, the only thing I can tell you guys is we're going to continue to do what we can to make improvements to make this thing better for all our residents of our parish. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
You said about how much rainfall. I want to know if there's a plan to put out there and let the people know exactly what happened, because they're not gonna never say how much. So to say that we know we figured we couldn't handle it, but do they know exactly what happened? Like I say, like with the 2016, they called it a name. They called it the 1,000-year flood or something.
Right.
Something where we could let them know that we did our best.
We can definitely
gotta put something out there.
We're definitely focused on putting something out. We want to gather all information. We want to make sure we go through all of our rain gauges and so forth. But we can definitely talk about the amount of rain that we received in each area of the parish. But again, folks, I'm just going to be perfectly honest with you. I get it, people understand it, but it's still, you know, you
It's
still
what
have folks that are suffering
Yeah,
from it.
because, yeah, I know the suffering, but I'm saying, but the first thing I noticed in there was somebody hollering about, y'all asking for money for the drainage, look what happened.
Yeah,
Now, they didn't say what we prevented, they said, look what happened.
correct.
And
correct.
it's the
Yep.
rain so much, so you need to put something out there.
Yep.
Explain it to them, like you say, get your great grand or somebody to put something out there. Now, I don't know where we could put it, but it was on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
No,
first thing they mentioned, what happened.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, look, you know, the thing with Facebook is, you know, we try to put as much factual information as we can out there, and that's what we'll continue to do through our office. We'll put as much factual information out there. We're not going to get into the war of trying to combat every single negative comment that are non-factual. It's just it's a non-win. You can't win that battle because
Put
it just
information
isn't
out there.
strength.
Let
But we
them know
will
that-
continue to put factual information out there. Absolutely.
I do want to say one thing. I agree with that about social media and stuff like that. People rather consume their time making negative comments but I did have a guy in Bova Estates today take a proactive stance on his own. He took his own side by side. This man literally was in the culverts. Literally, I lost him a couple of times. He went underwater trying to make sure that he was not obstructed and stuff like that. I don't know the gentleman. I'm gonna find him and thank him personally, but I was like, oh wow, this
Yeah.
is real.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, we saw some of that. Yeah. We definitely saw some of that also.
Yeah, it was, yeah, I mean, I was down there in Addis this morning, I went right around and, you know, looking and seeing stuff, and I mean, I saw from 2016 to today, I mean, see Richardson Road, I've never seen water flowing from, that would be flowing from north to south across Sid Richardson Road. I mean, like coming that way, I mean, across the middle of the road, not in the canals and stuff at the front where the culverts are, dead middle of the road, the whole road had water flowing across it. I've never, I mean.
And of course, everybody wants to, like 216 is the benchmark. Everybody wants to compare it to 2016, but it really wasn't a comparable event, because if you remember 2016, that rain event was over a 2 to 3 day period. The second part of that equation is that the intercoastal and the Parish canals were at all-time lows. During that period of time. So that helped us significantly back in 2016.
Right. And
Yeah.
I mean, the ditch.
Everyone's
drains
different.
In the building today, when I went back there in the back and looked, that bridge over that ditch in 16 never went underwater.
Yeah,
It was over it today by about a foot.
yeah. I've seen it over one or two other occasions, but yeah. Oh, it's
Yeah, it was.
there was a lot of
When
water.
I pulled up to that ditch, I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
this is, yeah,
yeah.
that was pretty bad.
But it is, like I said, it's hard to compare events because they're all
Yeah,
different.
you can.
Every one of them different. Now, one of the things we did have in the budget, and that we are in the process of getting quotes on, is putting stage gauges on a lot of our main canals, like the Cooley, like the Parish Canal. And that way, once you get those gauges, then you can start doing some modeling and figuring out, okay, if we get a 2 or 3 inch rain, what's it gonna do to these stages? So that's the next step, the proactive approach that we're taking.
And like
That's a
you said,
good
it all
point.
goes back to the intercoastal and all the surrounding waters around here. And I mean,
Yeah.
you know, if this would have happened, I watched the water a pretty good bit in the spillway and Lower Jack Miller and
Do you
stuff. You know, I don't know why, but 2 weeks ago, Lower Grand River by Jack Miller's was like 7.9 feet, 8 feet, which that's really high. Which the intercoastal was, I mean, right before the boat races back that morning. So if you had this rain that day,
Yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't have been,
yeah,
you'd have had probably 100 structures,
yeah,
if not more.
yeah.
You know, I mean, so you just can't ever predict that when the intercoastal and all the surrounding waterways are that high. It just so happened this morning when I woke up, Lower Grand River was at 5.6.
Yeah.
So I mean, you had places for it to go.
Right. And the other piece of this is, guys, you know, these type of storm events, even meteorologists, they can't predict this. Nobody saw this one coming.
No, no.
They'll tell you that. But we'll continue to do what we can do to improve.
Let me just comment on something that Kenny, brought up. I guess back to social media and particularly Facebook. I was a little afraid to open my laptop, but I did it anyway, and I think that some of the word that you're talking about did get out, because there were a lot of people that did know and realize how much rain we actually had, and actually were
Yeah.
positively commenting about the drainage system.
Correct.
You know, so there was some negative, no doubt about it. But I was really kind of surprised, in a sense, how much positive I did see. I think a lot of people do know what they have here.
No.
So just to kind of add that on.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I say that with social media, but there is an awful lot of positive comments.
Absolutely.
And you saw the picture we got at, a few minutes before the 5 board meeting.
Right.
The mayor and Addis David sent us about right there in front of the bank in Addis at 9:15 to 3:15.
Right.
The picture was taken, so 6 hours.
Right.
And it looked like.
And even barely rain, yeah.
No, they even have, yeah.
It looked like it rained.
Yep,
So, I mean, in 6
absolutely.
hours, when you're talking about drainage,
Absolutely.
you know,
And that's right.
I mean, that's
And
drainage, you know?
And again, kudos to the Public Works Department, because
Yeah.
golly, we're so fortunate to have the job they do.
Yeah.
It's
Down, Addis, Bruley, y'all, I mean,
all municipalities,
people
everybody.
This morning cleaning out, shovels in hand,
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we had multiple conversations with the municipalities, but also throw in the utilities department, because that's one of the first calls we got this morning. Hey guys, y'all need help? We're here. Whatever we need to do, because they were also helping ride around and looking at canals and things. Yep. And recreation also.
Yep.
So.
Mr. Walker, I'm sorry, go ahead.
And that's okay. Jason, I want to thank you guys for the work that you're doing. I think I received my first drainage complaint back on 5/19 of 2020 along South River Road. And then we had another one on December the 29th of 2021 on Lukeville. And then we had the rain event on 1/30 of 23 at Lukeville Upper Elementary. And you guys went in and had those pine trees cut out to help with the drainage. The school took on some water, but we've had a consistent amount of complaints in my area regarding the drainage. And so we had conversations about this, you and I and Philip, regarding the gauges and the models that we're going to do in our parish. And I know we have a drainage study that's being done on Choctaw, right? Is there one that we
That's
budgeted
one of the
in
ones
this
we're
year?
getting- yes, PC
So
engineer.
do we currently have 1 or 2 drainage studies being done in our parish? I wanted to ask Chance or Philip that before the meeting tonight.
The one I think that we have is just the one by Choctaw, that area right there.
Okay, so the point I'm trying to get to is, I don't know if the council or you guys would consider doing a drainage study in that Lukeville area. I don't know if any homes took on water today, but I saw some of the pictures on my news app, and there were cars that were literally parked on the street, and the houses were covered with water around the foundations. I haven't spoken to anyone, but I just wanted to mention that in the meeting. And I know I mentioned that to Philip probably about when we did our last budget, about the drainage study on Choctaw, and if we could potentially get one done in the Lukeville area, right there in that corridor.
Yeah,
And-
it's that little corner. There's 2 areas, main areas of concern is right there at the corner, where you've got Lukeville School, you've got Sun Electric, you've got the snowball stand. Right there is one area. And then the other area is all the way on Lukeville towards Brown's Cafe in that
Right.
curve area down there.
Right.
And I can tell you that was 100% attributed to the coulee was out of his banks.
Yeah, that's what Turf,
Yeah,
he just mentioned that to me. I was at work, I didn't see it.
yeah.
But I did see it on my news app, and then we had that conversation about those homes at that time being built below center line. They didn't have the requirements that we do now, so when we have a heavy rain event, some of those homes are sitting in a bowl right there,
Right.
and they're taking on water. But I want you guys to revisit it again to see if there's anything the parish can do to help improve with drainage in that area, Jason.
That
I know
is-
you guys closed in the Cooley Canal and did a lot of work, and I'm very grateful for that. But folks are, they're taking on water in some of those areas.
That was 2 of the areas that we actually made notes as we were riding around today.
So right there on
seeing-
Lukeville?
Yeah, look, that we noticed that there was significant impact, I'll say. Lukeville Elementary School actually took on some water.
They took on water?
Again, not much,
Okay.
but they did take some on, and, matter of fact, I was speaking today to the superintendent, but the maintenance supervisor, and I told him, I said, he said, we just need to fix it. What do we need to do? I said, you really need to consider a detention or retention area on that site.
Really?
That's the only thing that you consider a retention or detention area right there. That also takes some of the pressure off the water trying to get underneath LA1 to
Right.
may also impact or make improvements to the Louisville Lane area.
Right, right. And
So-
I know we spoke about that, and you
Yeah.
guys, we looked at it on the assessor's webpage right there in the conference room, and the drainage crew went in and cleaned some of those culverts and canals out
Yeah.
to try and help with that a little bit.
Yeah. But they are actually looking, I think the school board is looking at adding another building back there, and I said, you need to make sure your architects are looking at
The
a
retention.
retention area for that area also. And I think that actually, again, will help a lot of, some of the Louisville.
Thank you,
concerns.
Jason. I just wanted to mention that for those that are viewing these meetings so that they'll know that you guys are working and that we've had conversations about this, and then maybe consider a drainage study in the future. You know, maybe in next year's budget.
Will do.
Go ahead, Philip.
Today, we did ride by Louisville where you talked about the highway.
Right,
Basically, 3 points that go underneath the tracks, and you got the main one in front of Louisville, you got the one at the red light, and you got the one by Fanco.
right.
They were all rolling.
So they were draining properly?
It was flowing.
Yeah,
Just a lot of rain.
right, yeah. I mean, I know, and I think a lot of folks, they really don't, you know, understand everything with what's going on. They just see the flood water in the yards and around the foundations and in the homes. And, you know, people get upset about that. But I just want everyone to know that you guys are working and that we've had conversations. And so hopefully we can move forward, you know, or continue to move forward in a
Right.
positive way. Thank you.
Thank you, Hatley.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? All good?
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you, Jason. Appreciate your report. Moving to item 9, communications with council members and or elected appointed officials. Go ahead, Chance.
Members of council, you should have all these budget actions in front of you. We got a long meeting, so I'm not gonna take too much of your time, but I will roll through these real quick. So you got general fund, this first one. Looking at your revenues, we had mentioned it to a couple of you the other day, but if I highlight at the very top, that sales tax, it looks like the note might have got cut off in printing, but the note was, it's running a little bit behind budgeted pace. As you can see, the 30%. Right now, almost through 4 months, your target is about 33% for your, especially for your expenses, but also for your revenues. So you can see the sales tax running a little bit behind, but we're right there. We're pretty close as far as what we actually budgeted. Again, not going to go line by line through all this. Take a while. So, but look at your totals. 44%, 25 compared to 43 in 2024. So running a little bit better than last year, about $277,000 better than last year in your general fund revenues. If you turn the page, look at your expenses. Again, a lot of line items here, so I'm not going to go through all of them. Look at your totals, your operating. That's what you really want to focus on. So I went ahead and highlighted in green, make it easy for you. Running at 31.54% in 2025 compared to 32% in 2024. So again, that's right around that targeted 33% number that I mentioned at the beginning. And then the last page is some graphs kind of show the comparisons year to year, 25 to 24. They're very, very similar as far as your differences, or your net amounts. If we go to the second one I printed out for you guys, these are all our other major operating funds, your roads, your drainage, your central communications. You look at your revenues up at the top. A lot of these are mill funded, funded by millages, so those are all collected at the very beginning of the year. So that's why you see the revenues being so high. You see drainage at 91%, recreation 89%, and so on. So that's why you see that 52% overall revenue for 2025 compared to a 51% for 2024. And then again, looking at the bottom, you got all your expenses for all these funds, and you're running total at 29.14%, which is great. You have a few funds that are above the 33 targeted, but that's to be expected. Roads, we front loaded. We went ahead and bought a bunch of our equipment. They already paid for your workers' comp, your auto insurance. Those are all one-time payments at the beginning of the year. It's going to make that percent look inflated, but you catch up as you get further into the year. So in total, we're running great. This also includes public utilities. And yeah, so we're running good. Nothing of concern. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Chance, this is good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you keeping us updated where we at on budget. Yep, thank you very much. You got anything? Philip, you don't have anything? Council, y'all have anything? This is your time to speak. We're good? Jack, you good?
You're good.
All right. Moving to item 10, new business, we have nothing. We're gonna move to item 11. Public hearing on previously introduced ordinances. Item 8, an ordinance to amend and reenact the West Baton Rouge Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 3, Unified Development Code, Chapter 106, Site Planning, Article 2, Stormwater Management, Section 106-22, Field Mitigation, and Section 106-24, Commercial Site Development Regulations to provide for the stormwater quality control in most developments and clarify commercial site regulations. So this is a public hearing. I'm gonna open up the public hearing at this time. Go ahead there, Brandon.
Yep, which, look at the timing. So, the stormwater management, I'm just gonna start off with this field mitigation. This, new part of the code only applies to areas that are in flood zones. So, your parts of the parish that aren't in those, this would not apply to them, just strictly in the flood zones. Basically, what you'll have sometimes is when there's a development in the flood zone, to get people out of the flood zone, you'll fill dirt and everything in there to get people up to the required elevation. Well, if it's at 10 foot of elevation and you need to get to 12 and people put 13, basically that volume that's being put, that water has to get pushed somewhere else, either, directly into the canal if it's that close, or into a ditch that then goes into a canal, that then goes into a bigger canal, and so on and so forth. So this kind of combats basically that water that's in flood zones getting displaced and pushed either further down south or further around the surrounding areas. So, to go through it real quick, portion A is for the on-site excavation. Basically, nothing gets brought in. This is basically if detention ponds being used for runoff, basically going through and saying that they could use that pond as a way to counteract the storage. So that volume of water that's being displaced by the fill, you would include that with your calculation. So you would have the volume of runoff you need for the pond with the volume that you're displacing on those calculations, covering it that way. The section B basically talks about all-site. If a developer has such a large tract that they don't want to have it be on-site, or if they have two separate properties, if they want to dig on their other property and just make a giant hole in the ground, for lack of a better term, to combat it, they would basically follow the guidelines in there for that sort of scenario. And then C, basically giving exemptions. These rules only apply to your residential neighborhood subdivisions, and then industrial and commercial properties. If it's single family residential, C basically gives you your exemptions of when you would not need to use it, because it's just one piece of property for the family. And then the next section is the commercial site development regulations for C 1.1. This basically just gives a minimum lot area width and depth. If you multiply the minimum width and depth, it's less than the minimum lot area. Basically just giving actual numbers and requirements for that one instead of the language it had previously. So this was also approved on our P&Z with a 7-0 vote.
Okay.
So.
Brandon, thank you very much for explaining that. So this is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item? Anyone from the public? If we have none, I'm going to close the public hearing and open up discussion to Parish Council. Looks like I have some motions on the floor. Have a motion by Mr. Cruz, second by Mr. Lane to approve. If there's no other discussion amongst the council, I'm going to open the machines to vote for approval on this item. That motion passed. Moving to item 11B, an ordinance to amend and reenact Part 3, Unified Development Code, Chapter 105, Subdivisions, Article 1 in general, Section 105-4, Public Hearing by Commission, Chapter 111, Administration and Enforcement, Article 4, Zoning Enforcement, Section 111-63, Board of Adjustments, Establishment and Procedure, Section 111-76, procedures for amendments to zoning map. Article 6, subdivision approval procedures, section 111 through 115. Final plat approval of the West Baton Rouge Parish Code of Ordinances in regards to legal advertisements, publication, and mailings. So this is a public hearing. I'm gonna open up that public hearing at this time. Go ahead there, Brandon.
All right, I'm gonna start out by saying that there will be an amendment to this one. I will clarify that when I get to it, but I just wanna put it on your radar in the first place, I guess. So basically going through the code, you know, when people wanna have rezonings or Board of Adjustments, there's requirements for advertising. Basically going through and taking out certified letters from the code, just having regular old mail being used. And then going through, we had a flat rate of $350, you know, plus whatever other additional advertisement fees came with that. Basically taking that out and just saying whatever the total cost price is for sending out, you know, the letters and the news publications, blah, blah, blah. Whatever that amount is, that's what people pay, you know. With certifieds not being involved, we're assuming that $350 will, you know, not be hit as much. When you get to section 11176.5, advertising, that is where the amendment would take place. We have a strike through on once a week for 3 weeks consecutively. That line will stay, so that will not be taken out. And then there is a green portion that I scratched through, so I can't read it all.
At least 3 times.
At least 3 times is what it says.
Yes.
That part is being removed, so that green portion goes away. And then if you go on, it says at least 4 days, and then 10 days in green. That 10 days will be changed to 15 days. And then shall elapse between the, instead of last date of publication, we're changing that to first. So I can roll through that again if anybody would like me to. But if you keep going further on, it's just the same thing of taking out the certified portions and replacing it with regular mail. And this was approved with the amendments with a 8-0 vote on our P&Z.
Easy.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Brandon. This is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item? If I have no one from the public, I'm gonna close the public hearing, open up discussion to the council. We have a motion by Mr. Walker, second by Mr. Crowe to approve, and I'm gonna ask Michelle to specifically read out those amendments, how it should read, yes.
All right, with the amendments, what you're gonna read on, section 111-76, item number 5, advertising notice of the proposed change in the time and place of the hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission shall have been published once a week for 3 weeks consecutively in an official journal of the parish. At least 15 days shall elapse between the first date of publication and the date of the hearing. And it'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. So again, I got a motion by Mr. Walker, second by Mr. Crowe to approve with the read out amendments stated by Council Clerk Michelle Touye. So I'm gonna open the machines, vote for approval. That motion passed. Move into item 11C. An ordinance amending chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map, zoning plan under section 104-3, establishment of districts, official zoning map for rezoning requests of 3SK Properties LLC regarding parcel number 203-000000800, located on Choctaw Road, Bruley, Louisiana, 70719, file number 2025-07, described by the WBR assessor as tract 3SK, remainder of 778.45 acres, continuation of 386 acres more or less in sections 25, 32, 33, T8S, R11E, rezoning lots 1 through 4 of Outer Banks subdivision, RSF2, residential single family to C1.3 community scale commercial, and tract 3SK from I1 light industrial to Ag 3 agriculture full scale. This is a master plan change. This is a public hearing. I'm gonna open up that public hearing. Go ahead there, Brandon.
Okay, so first thing I'll jump onto is the industrial rezoning. This was the Outer Banks subdivision that was approved, I want to say 2 months ago. There was a remaining portion of the property behind the lakes, you know, east of the property, that was zoned I-1. If you go further east on that property, there's an Ag 3 section. That I-1 is basically just being rezoned to Ag 3 to make it one larger Ag 3, piece of property behind the lakes. For the commercial rezoning, the C1.2, I had put in my analysis, I had described 2 commercial lots. I want to clarify that that was a mistake. It's 1 commercial lot and then a common area, common lot piece of property between this new rezoned one and the next residential adjacent lot. Basically, the 1 through 4 being combined and rezoned into this portion. On the final plat that was approved, there were 2 C1.2 pieces of property, and then these lots 1 through 4, and then the rest of the residential as you go down. Basically, the new rezoning would be 3 C1.2 lots, this commercial strip, and then lot 5 residential as you head further south on the Milltown Road. So basically trading out the 4 residentials for 1 larger commercial one.
Okay, gotcha.
And this was approved with an 8-0 vote on P&Z.
Planning and zoning?
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Brandon, for that information. So again, this is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item? Yes, sir, come on up, state your name for the record. I thought you might want to come up. Yep.
Good afternoon, Chris Maestri,
Yes, Chris.
the surveyor for this project. 9345 Interline Avenue in Baton Rouge, Louisiana is the address. Appreciate the introduction, Chairman, and I also appreciate the introduction, Brandon. Thank y'all for being here. If y'all have any questions about this rezone, I'd be happy to answer it.
Okay, thank you. We may call you up once council gets it. All right, again, this is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item? If I have none, we're gonna close the public hearing and open up discussion to the parish council. Mr. Babin, go ahead. You have the
Yes,
floor.
sir, thank you. I see this, the request is 1 through 4 residential becoming commercial. But also, we have a plat or a map in front of us that those 4 lots will become 1 large lot. Is that
You
what
can,
I'm looking at?
Chris, you can, or whoever.
Brandon can.
Brandon, can you, one of y'all, whoever wants to take it.
I'd be happy to answer this.
Yep.
So the rezoning is a public hearing process, and that's what we're asking for here. The re-subdivision just so happens to fall under an administrative plat. So with a favorable recommendation or an approval from you guys, that would allow us to complete the administrative re-subdivision process. So it just so happens that the re-sub helps as an exhibit, so that's submitted here to you guys.
And I know it conforms with existing commercial. I really wasn't too crazy about it in the beginning, but I had a better understanding after discussing it. It's just, I don't know, there's just some kinks, not in this at all. Trust me, I'm not talking about this. Just some kinks and some public safety concerns that I would really like to get with administration and council members, maybe create a little committee to address the escape road or second way out of there for those folks behind the tracks. It has nothing to do with your resub, understand that please. But just, I would like to do that if we can in the next few weeks, whoever from the council that's allowed, for 3 or 4 of us, whatever, and you guys, and let's see which way we're going with that. Because I really wouldn't be too open-minded to allowing any more development back there until we get something at least going our way on that, so. Thank you.
And the only comment I have to what you're saying, Mr. Babin, I don't disagree at all. And I stated when you guys brought the final plat that you did a great job. I went back there and looked at it, but however, I did not vote for this when you initially wanted, because I had the same concerns that you're speaking about, because, you know, there is not another way out back there, and we've created a subdivision back there with, how many lots is that? 40 lots, and there is no escape route, and Mr. Babin does have a very, very good point. You know, that was my first thoughts when I saw this. I know we're just doing a rezone here, but whatever is gonna be done with this, you're gonna have more people behind the track, and we do not have the true infrastructure in place, because no emergency vehicles. I know I'm just stating it all, been stated it before, but I'll state it again. We do not have no emergency vehicles that can get back there if there's a train blocking, or any people can get out if there's something bad that happens. So, you know, Mr. Babin, I totally agree with you. I don't like any more development happen till we, as a parish, can get the infrastructure where it needs to be. I think everybody can understand that, believes that. So that's my comment. Go ahead, Mr. Walker.
Yeah, I'd like to agree with Chairperson Densel on that and what Chairperson Babin is saying. That buffers up against my district, and we need to work to make some improvements there as far as outlets. We had conversations about the railroad tracks a few years ago, and there's a one way in, one way out. And it's definitely affecting the folks that live on my street and the surrounding areas. There's quite a bit of traffic now, and we have Sugar Mill that buffers up against us also. And we're looking at a historical neighborhood, and we want to try and, how do I say this? We want to try and maintain what we have without having that intrusion of all of the traffic speeding through that street. I mean, it's really bad, guys. And then we have the emergency vehicles coming through now, the fire trucks, EMS guys. I mean, it's busy. It's busy. So I'd like to sit on that committee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Go ahead, Alan, you have a question, go ahead.
Scott, you made the comment earlier that putting these lots back together is a zoning issue, and the redivision would be an administrative issue, and I don't really understand that, because that's not the case. That's part of a subdivision, and if you re-subdivide it, it has to come back before this council. It's not an administrative issue. It would be a re-subdivision of. It's still part of this subdivision, so it would have to come back before the council instead of administrative.
Any comments to that?
So we approached the administration and we asked that question. They determined that the staff had determined that this would be an administrative change, but the rezone would have to go through you guys. So let me defer to staff on why this is an administrative re-subdivision map. But
yep,
that's how we proceeded.
Okay, we were going to ask that. Brandon, can you comment on that?
The plans could be administrative after the rezoning.
The plat,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Right.
'Cause
The
it's not-
plat will, but not a re-subdivision.
Right, we gotta do the rezoning, then
It-
the
no,
plan
no.
will be administrative.
But look, after the rezoning, if it's successful, and they come back to re-subdivide the property, that was the question asked. It would be
Because it
administrative.
doesn't, yeah, because it's not increasing with any new lots. It's actually decreasing, and the lots are legal lots. They're not,
No,
they
okay,
don't have any
then
waivers.
we're talking about two different things then. Because if you redivide the large commercial lot, it's not administrative.
They're not redividing the large lot. They're
Well,
taking the 4 little lots and making them a big lot.
yes, I understand. That I understand.
That's what.
But then if it's re-subdivided after zoning, is the way I thought the question was asked.
No, right now, you're rezoning 4 individual lots.
No, right.
So you're rezoning them, and they're gonna come back and take those 4, put together as one large lot.
Yeah, then I do agree with that.
Yes.
My understanding was if the lots were be re-subdivided
No.
after the one was put back into one lot.
Right.
Okay, so then I misunderstood
Oh,
the whole.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
And
All right, thank you, Brandon. So currently on the floor, I have a motion by Mr. Lane.
Yeah, and, just to add to it, I know a lot of y'all would ride back there lately. But when you look at it with the 2 commercial lots, the way they have it, that where the pipelines are in the middle, was that dead space or whatever in the middle that you couldn't really do anything with the commercial on those. So if you look at where the first lot on the left to the east would be on the intercoastal side, they got a big berm built right there, like a big, which was kind of in line with the way the woods came out right there. So they left that big berm right there, like a big hill with trees on it and stuff, so the lots before that berm would be the commercial ones. And then as soon as you pass that little berm on your right in the woods right there, we get into the residential side. So I think the way this looks, actually by looking at it, if you had the full residential on the right before when you came right there, cause that first residential was gonna be right on that pipeline, I think it'll look, yeah, if you look at it on the map, you can see the actual berm right there.
Right.
And then your first residential line would start right after that berm.
I see it now.
Yeah, and so that little section you see right there above the first lot is a lot that you can't, I don't think you can build anything on because of those two pipelines that run straight through that.
Yep, I see what you're
I think
saying.
this could be a better thing to eliminate those 4 lots, install the residential on the bottom side of that.
Okay,
Lining up with each other right there, coming south.
okay,
So I
good
got a
information,
motion to
Kurt, thank you.
approve.
So again, I have a motion by Mr. Lane. I have a second by Mr. Gordon to approve. There's no other discussion amongst the council. I'm gonna open the machines to vote for approval. That motion passed. Moving to item 11D, an ordinance amending Chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map zoning plan under Section 104-3 establishment of districts official zoning map for rezoning request of Robert Critney Jr. regarding property located at 2728 Billups Lane, Brewley, Louisiana 70767, file number 2025-08, described by the WBR assessor as Lot Section 19 T8S R12E 47H-32 rezoning from R Mobile Home Park to RSF3 single residential single family, and this is a master plan change also.
If I could, Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
just
sir.
add something that I stepped out. Philip
Yeah.
grabbed me earlier. I got
Sure.
a call from
Absolutely.
Dino. We have had a request to actually reopen the Addis VFW shelter. And the reason being is that the Chad Drive apartment complex, they do not have power. They wanted us to just go out and inspect, and our suggestion was, talking with Brandon, is that they should have an electrician actually go and inspect it before our inspectors go out there.
Right.
So Red Cross has agreed to operate the shelter at the Addis VFW. Just wanted to mention it to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jason, for that information. We appreciate that. Okay, so back to item 11D. This is a public hearing. I'm gonna open up that public hearing at this time. Go ahead, Ed Brandon.
All right. Sorry. Yeah, so this is going from mobile home park to RSF3. Around Billups Lane, everything in this area is currently zoned RSF3, except for there is a ag property, north behind this property. But in the general vicinity of Billups Lane, a lot of the properties are already currently zoned RSF3. This would just put that, strip behind, matching the surrounding properties. The minimum lot area for RSF3 is 22,500. This property exceeds that at 36.8. I did mention in the P&Z meeting that if you wanted to go off of like depth and stuff of the property and say that the frontage, as I say, since it doesn't connect on Billups Lane, it doesn't have like the depth to meet RSF3, but it would not for any other RSF, 1 or 2. So it meets the minimum for the acreage, which at least, is better than some of the existing properties that, were just rezoned RSF3 whenever ago. So just wanted to mention that real quick.
BZ,
With a 8-0 vote, yeah.
thank you. Thank you. So this is public hearing. If anyone from the public would like to speak on this matter, if I have none, we're gonna close the public hearing, open up discussion to the council. Yes, sir. Oh, you want to speak? Go ahead.
Yeah, this is in my district. I wanted to mention something before I make a comment on this. I have this recusal statute here in front of me, and it states an elected official who recuses himself from voting pursuant to this section shall not be prohibited from participating in discussion and debate concerning the matter, provided that he makes the disclosure of his conflict or potential conflict a part of the record of his agency prior to his participation in the discussion or debate and prior to the vote that is subject of discussion or debate. And I wanted to get our council attorney's comment on that. The property owner in question, that's my father's sister's son. So I want to make sure that it's not a conflict there. And I want to give Kristen an opportunity to comment on that. And, before I say anything else.
Sure. So looking at the recusal from voting statute, you're looking at 42:1120. But relative to actually needing to recuse, it would be under 1112,
Okay.
in which it would require it to be an immediate family member, which that relation would not be.
Okay.
Subsequent to that, if there was any person in which you would reasonably know would be receiving a substantial economic interest by your vote, then you would be required to recuse yourself. I believe in this matter, it does not meet the definition of substantial economic interest,
Okay.
Being that it would not be a loss or gain for this person more than any other person by your vote. The purpose of recusing would be to ensure that you didn't have a conflict where your vote would be for your benefit.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good with that? You
Yes, sir.
clarified it for you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So
Good
I
deal.
did have a chance to view the planning and zoning meeting, and I'll give you guys an opportunity to comment on it some, but I was gonna raise a motion in support of this item, agenda item.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you. Okay, so currently on this item, I have a motion by Mr. Walker, second by Mr. Lane to approve. If there's no other discussion, yeah, go ahead, Alan. You got something you want to say?
I do have a question. Are these trailers existing on the property?
That's gonna come up
That's
later in
coming
the
up
meeting.
later.
That's gonna be for the plat.
Oh, this is
This is just the rezoning right now.
Yep,
Okay.
just for reason.
But yeah, we'll come up with that later on
Yep.
in the meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
And so it's gonna be a master plan change, right? So it
Yes,
would require
so this is gonna
supermajority
take a
vote.
supermajority.
Okay.
It's gonna take a supermajority of the council.
Yeah.
All right. So if there's no other discussion amongst the council, I'm gonna open the machines to vote for approval.
Mhm.
That motion does pass. Moving to item 11E, an ordinance to amend and reenact the West Baton Rouge Parish Code of Ordinances, Part 3 Unified Development Code, Appendix A, Purchase, Donation of Real Property, Section 1, Descriptions, and further authorizing the parish president to sign the necessary documentation to accept donation of 4 acres on the corner of LA Highway 190 West and Rougon Road, Port Allen, Louisiana, and accept donation of 0.712 acre water well site located on Section Road near its intersection with Padres Bayou Road. So this is a public hearing. I'm gonna open that public hearing at this time. Go ahead there, Jason.
Yeah, I think it's self-explanatory. I mean, I'll be glad to answer any questions. Again, this is for the combined
Absolutely.
fire station, law enforcement,
Absolutely.
and the water well.
Okay, so again, this is a public hearing. Anyone from the public would like to speak on this item? If I have no one, we're gonna close the public hearing, open up discussion to the parish council. I'm sure we have no questions or comment. I think everybody knows what this is for. Have a motion by Ms. Andre, second by Mr. Babin to approve. I'm gonna open up the machines to vote for approval. That motion passed. Item 12, resolutions. A resolution providing for canvassing the returns and declaring the results of a special election held by the Parish of West Baton Rouge, State of Louisiana on Saturday, March 29th, 2025, and to promulgate the results thereof. Go ahead there,
Yep.
Chance.
Yeah, this is just a requirement after any election for you guys to vote on this resolution to certify it.
All right, thank you there. I have a motion by Ms. Andre, second by Mr. Gordon to go ahead and approve this resolution. Mobile machines to vote for approval. That motion passed. Item 13, consider status report, change order, and/or other matters as required on current projects. Item 8 accept, project bid recommendations of one 2025 current year flatbed truck.
Yeah, members of the council, so we put this truck out to bid for the roads department. We had 2 packets picked up, only 1 returned one. The bid, the recommendation is to take the bid from all truck. We actually was looking at 25, they're gonna bring us to 26. For $185,158, we had $200,000 budgeted as per our original quote, so it's almost $15,000 under, so we're making a recommendation, we accept this bid.
Okay. I have a motion by Mr. Bavin, second by Ms. Andre, to go ahead and approve this item. If there's no other questions, Philip, while he's up, everybody's good? We'll open the machines to vote for approval. That motion passed.
Thank you.
Item 14, introduction of ordinances. Ms. Michelle.
An ordinance amending chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map zoning plan under section 104.3 establishment of districts, official zoning map for rezoning request of John and Stacy Dupree regarding property located at 10100 Bush Road, Bush, Louisiana 70720, file 2025-12, described by the West Baton Rouge Assessor as Lot 6A. Yatta North Forms containing 2.000 acres, more or less, 22-19, rezoning from AG2 agricultural moderate scale to AG3 agricultural large scale. Public hearing date May 8th, 2025. Be an ordinance amending chapter 104 zoning to incorporate amended zoning designation map zoning plan under section 104.3 establishment of districts, official zoning map for rezoning request of Formco care of Gerald Rupel regarding property located at 10240 Bush Road, Bush, Louisiana 70720, file 2025-13, described by the West Baton Rouge Assessor as Lot 5A containing 5.01 acres and Lot 6B containing 3.66 acres, Yatta and North Forms 22-18C, rezoning from AG3 agricultural large scale to AG2 agricultural moderate scale. Public hearing date May 8, 2025. C, an ordinance amending the West Baton Rouge Parish Code of Ordinances, Louisiana, amending Chapter 22 Elections, Article 2 Voting Descriptions, Section 22-25 generally, 22-26 designated, 22-27 Voting District Descriptions, Article 3 Voting Districts and Polling Places, Section 22-58 Precinct Descriptions, and 22-59 Polling Places. Public hearing date May 8, 2025. D, an ordinance of West Baton Rouge Parish Council adopting the 2024 year-end budget adjustments to an operating budget of revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2024 and ending December 31, 2024 for the Juvenile Detention Fund 016. Public hearing date May 8, 2025.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Moving item 15, consider subdivision plats, condemnations, waivers, and matters related thereto. Item A, file number 2025-03, owner Robert Critney Jr., address 2748 and 2728 Billups Lane of 0.86 acres, 0.36 and 0.375 acres into tract RC1 located in section 19 T8 SR12E Southeastern Land District west of the Mississippi River, West Baton Rouge Parish, Louisiana, for Robert Critney Jr. with setback waivers. Go ahead there, Brandon.
All right, so with the RSF3 going through, basically this would be combining the 2 properties between Billups Lane and the one we just rezoned into one larger tract. The waivers kick in on the front setbacks. RSF3 requires a 35-foot setback. One is at 25.7 and one is at 31.5. And then the side setbacks for one trailer, one dimension is 7.8, and then on the back portion, north portion of it, it is 11.5. And then I also had printed out our waiver language where it talks about waivers of any numerical considerations shall equate to no more than a 20% reduction in the equivalent standard. If a numerical reduction greater than 20% is being sought by a waiver applicant, then the parish council may approve such request with a supermajority affirmative vote of 2/3 of the authorized membership of the council. Basically, that 20% reduction or 80% of 35 foot for the front setback is 28 feet. For the side, the 12-foot is a 9.6. So basically, out of the 4 waiver requests, 2 of the 4 are within that 80% range. And this was approved with a 7-1 vote of approval at the Planning and Zoning meeting.
Okay, Brandon?
Yep.
We may call you back up, I don't know, but hang tight. Yeah, go ahead there, Mr. Grove.
I guess my question comes now versus
Earlier, right.
these 2 trailers are existing in place now?
Yes, sir, I believe so. In our P&Z meeting, I think if you look at the assessor site, there's like an aerial view of 2 trailers. I believe those 2 trailers that were not in this position were moved to these new locations with these given setbacks.
Did they pull permits when they moved them there?
No, sir.
Because I don't think we would have given permits to put these trailers this close together. I mean, that's, one of these trailers catch on fire, they both gonna burn to the ground. There's no question about it. I mean, that would be my biggest concern, safety, health and safety of the fact that you've got 2 trailers that far apart. We're not allowed to put them that close in trailer parks. The setback, I guess if they would have pulled permits, they would have got it. They would have been told where they could have put them and where they couldn't put them, or the distances to put them back. I just want to understand why they put them like they did.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, come on up, state your name for the record.
My name is Robert Critney Jr. I understand your question, and it's an honorable question. One of the reasons why the trailers were set, if you look at the current status on the map, it's 2 lots. The previous one, which is the one we referred to earlier as far as the request for the change of status, was a trailer park, and the person who was in it gave the trailer to her son. We were in the process of trashing the trailer, but he had nowhere to stay. As a matter of fact, at this current status, he has nowhere to stay. So we tried to make a provision for him to get back in the trailer to repair it. One of the things you may see on the map is that there's a skew. So the skew is based on the fact that I've had 2 surveyors. The first surveyor actually gave me a different dimension, and the owner of the property that's to the rear has a different perspective on where their property starting in, which is nevertheless none what we're dealing with, but we had an assumption that the property was at a different angle. So we did a survey, and when you look at the survey, it still gives us a skew. If you look at the dimensions of the property, I think it's 407 on one end and 400 on the other end. So it shows a different dimension. And I think it's based on the fact that they inserted a right-of-way. The parish inserted a right-of-way that wasn't there before, and it was a private street. And so based off the private street and the right-of-way, I think they were assuming the current dimension because they inserted marks that weren't there before as far as what the property is currently at. So there weren't any previous markers. They created some. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But when you look at the dimensions of what you are currently concerned with, I was under the assumption that dimensions as far as trailers distance were 10 feet. And one of the reasons why I just purchased the property to the rear of the church, and it cost me a lot of money. So one of the things I didn't want to do is have it to pay for the property and then lose the property by having 2 trailers on there, okay? So I didn't want to kick them in the street, and I gave them an option to either move their trailers or we adjust a space for them to be there as long as they need there within 5 years. Interestingly enough, the gentleman called me today and mentioned to the fact that he wants to sell his trailer. So I don't want to buy it. If anybody here wants to buy it, they can buy it. But the other trailer is a trailer that's, like I said earlier, the other trailer is for a lady who's been there on the property that my daddy allotted her the provisions to stay there, and I didn't want to kick her out in the street. So I paid a lot of money for the property, and I didn't want them on there at all, but I don't want to kick the people that are there in the street. And so if you look again, you'll see there's a house that's there. The house, I've already gave the information to the father of the young man who's there and explained to him that the house has to be removed because even if I decide to repair it, it's going to consume all the property that I just bought, which doesn't make any sense because the ordinance in relationship to where we have to come off the road is 35 feet. If you look at the property, it's 78 feet, okay? 35 or 78, then 10 feet off the rear. That's all of the property. So it wouldn't benefit me at all.
Yeah, I see there's a note to be told to be removed or whatever, but.
Correct.
So these trailers that have not been recently moved there, they've been there for some time?
Well, be honest, they were on the property, but they would turn in different directions. And so in order for me to clean the property, because it doesn't show all the cleaning and the clearing that I had to do in order for the make headway on the property, because it's grass cutting time, so I had to get as much as I could while the winter was there. So I had equipment come in and clear out as much as they could. I couldn't do that, to be honest with you, where the trailers were. If you look at the house that was tractor trailer, had a trailer behind the house, which was full of debris. And that cost me a lot of money to have that removed. As a matter of fact, I've stopped working on it because we had to get the permit clearing the property, and I didn't want to look like I was disobeying the parish as far as doing anything on the property. So we stopped everything. We did a work stoppage period. We're not cleaning up. I've been cutting grass. It's still debris. I have to bring dirt on the property. I still have to run plumbing to the trailer, electrical to the trailer. So there's been a work stoppage on my part in order to be in compliance with the parish as much as we can. So we can get a permit in order for to go forward and to do whatever the parish require us to do.
Right. And now we're duty to clean this up and try to make it work. And it's, if you would have came in and look, I'm not preaching to you here, so understand me.
Right, I understand. I agree with you.
And got your permits, they would have give you the right setbacks, and they would have give you the right distances between the trailers. And look, my concern is definitely public safety.
Right.
These trailers are 10 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know what year model trailers they are or whatever, but if one of them catches on fire, there's no chance of the fire department putting the other one out either. They're so close together. As good as our fire department is today, and they're better than they used to be, I promise you. But they're so close together that this creates an issue. Then we go to the setbacks. You know, the only thing it would have took to make the setbacks right was for you to come in and get your permit, and they'll tell you what what requirements are.
Right. So once again, that was on me. Honestly, my assumptions were that it was 25 feet. 35 feet would not have benefited me at all to have that property because once again, it's 78 feet wide. 35 feet or 78 feet, 10 feet off the back end, I can't use the property. And the amount of money that I spent on it, the people who actually own the property approached me. I didn't approach them. And so they were in a certain position to sell the property. And if I had known it was 35 feet, I never would have initiated or completed the sale at all. But once again, I thought it was 25 feet because if you come closer to the front, my property, I put a building up, and my property was, I think, is right at about 35 feet, and I did that just based upon my preference. But I thought it was 25 feet, and I gave myself a 10 feet. I would just say a 10 feet allowance. So, and I always thought it was 25 feet, so because I was trying to use as much as I can of the property and not put, which is also I approach the district person for that area, which is Mr. Walker, and gave him an overview. I have several other pieces on that road, and they are also in the same predicament. With 35 feet frontage on that road, I can't do anything with the property that I have because 2636, 2656, if I would have put something on those lots, I don't have anywhere to put anything in the rear. I have to have a 10 feet to 12 feet, a 12 feet barrier on the back end and 35 feet on the front. I can't put anything that would be feasible that would benefit me on the property at all. So I was also interested in finding out whether or not we can do something about the 35-foot period. I don't know if this is the venue or the time frame to address that, but that is a concern for me because this is an old, very old neighborhood. I don't know if that means anything as far as how we decide on dimensions and as far as, and this road was at one time considered just a single directional road. After the insertion of the sewer system, we deal with traffic going both ways, but it's not designed for traffic going both ways. So it's a very narrow street. So when you look at where the property zone originally stands, it stands up against the property on this side, other side of the road. And so it would have given us somewhere between 40-some feet instead of 30, which is 20-some feet. But whatever the parish decides, I'll just have to deal with it. And
it just would have been a lot easier to clean this up back.
Understood. Once again, that's on me. It's my fault.
Yes,
and so
I mean, our laws are basically just people say ordinance, but it is the law of the parish, and that's what it is. It is a law, and there are some flexibilities in there. Yes, sir.
Right.
And we know these are old lots back there, and we know these are old lots back there. When they were originally divided, we understand that.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with that kind of regular in that area.
Right.
The houses that are there are grandfathered in. A lot of them are way less than the setbacks required.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I came before the parish once before for the church, and I got a variance for the church.
That. Yes, sir.
Yes. But no way am I trying to bypass the parish or do whatever needs to be done. I'm just trying to get the people back in. So they've been patient with me, and it's going on 3 months. And they've been sleeping on their aunts and relatives' sofa and floor. So if they need to be, if they have to come up with some other means where the parish does not approve it, then let it be.
Okay. You good, Alan?
Yes, sir.
I got a
Any
couple
other
people in the
questions?
queue here. I got Mr. Babin. You got the floor.
Brandon on Rock, this is.
Mm-hmm.
Are these two trailers that we discussed right now, do they have all utilities connected to them right now?
They don't have anything connected to them.
Okay, so there's a possibility if you sell that one, or whoever owns it sells it, and the other one that's not conforming to setbacks, we can get that cleaned up and get it to meet the setback line?
Yeah, if I can get it sold. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Alan, thank you for your comments. They were point on. And the same thing you
Turk.
mentioned about
Turk, come down. Come down. Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, I was gonna say thank you for your comments, Alan. They were point on about the trailers and the permits. And then Babin, what you mentioned about the sale of one of those trailers and then getting the permits to have connectivity for the utilities that they need there. But there was something else I wanted to mention, Mr. Critney. We do have what's called a zoning oversight committee, and they work with parish administration on cases like this. And a lot of them are unique to my district to try and work with the property owners so that we can work with them to have a fit for mobile homes and smaller homes on smaller lots. So the parish will work with you and all of our residents.
We would have to change the law.
Well, I think there was one other case like this that was similar in your district now with a trailer that was put on a lot. Well, your district?
Yeah.
Okay. We've had another case that was similar. Well, not like this, because this is gonna be a consolidation. All right, I'm gonna stop there.
Okay. All right. So, you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
So we have a motion by Mr. Gordon, second by Mr. Joseph to approve with the waivers. Second. Okay. All right. Any other discussion amongst the council? Good? All right, I'll open the machines to vote for approval with waivers. So actually, that motion failed, I guess, because of what? Two-thirds, it failed. Okay. All right, so I guess we're done with that. All right, move into item 16, correspondence report. Ms. Michelle.
Yes, sir. Let me get y'all screen up here. All this stuff off. Correspondence, basically, next planning and zoning meeting we have scheduled is gonna be for May 6th at 5:30, and y'all next council meeting will be here on May 8th at 5:30.
All right, thank you, Michelle. That, got a motion by Mr. Lane to adjourn.
May 15th, Tier
Huh?
3.
What?
Tier 3.
Oh, yeah, y'all gotta do y'all financial disclosure stuff, guys, remember that. That's coming up.
Mine's done.